If you have a workspace or gaming setup, but you can't seem to keep them clean, well today, I'll share my top 10 tips on how to keep everything nice and tidy. I'll go over how I clean, organize, and manage those cables. All of the items I mentioned will be linked in the description box below, so let's get into it. Okay, keeping your setup clean is key. So every week, I use a few tools to help me out. The first one is this electric air duster by Fantic. It's rechargeable and it has 2 blowing speeds. The air duster removes any dust or dirt from hard to reach areas like a keyboard or PC. And you might be thinking, it just blows the dust to a different area. Well, that's where a Swiffer duster comes in. It collects all that loose dust laying around and keeps your desk looking clean. I use it to give a quick wipe on my monitors, desk and shelves, and even my TV. The only bad thing about these is that they'll need to be replaced, and refills can be a little bit pricey. For a more affordable and reusable option, I have these microfiber cloths. I bought a 12-pack from Home Excel for around $6, and I use these every day, 1 color per week. And if you want, you could spend $20 for the Apple polishing cloth, but make sure the device you're cleaning is compatible. Either way, give your chair a good wipe, your console, and maybe even the desk legs. They're also great for those stubborn stains. Just add a little bit of distilled water and some elbow grease, and your item should look like new. For the floors, I vacuum them with the Dyson V8 Animal Plus. It collects all that human hair, pet hair, you name it, and I'll switch to a different tool for those smaller spaces. If you're like me and have a desk mat made with fabric, then I'll use this portable car vacuum, also from Fantic, to remove any debris or crumbs. Alright, once everything is all clean, you can add some accessories to make your setup look more organized and personal. For starters, I highly recommend getting a desk mat. I have this merino wool version from Grovemade, and it looks good on my white desktop. I place all my daily essentials on here like phones, AirPods Pro, DJI Mic 2, and glasses. It also acts as a little cushion so things don't damage the desk. My gaming setup has this magnetic desk pad, and that's about it. I try to keep this setup as minimal as possible. If you're interested in my full gaming setup tour, I'll leave the video in the cards and link it down below. A desk shelf is another good way to stay organized. This one is also from Grovemade, and it basically adds 2 more layers to my desk setup. On the top, I just have a matte black cube, 2 HomePod minis, fake IKEA plant, and a 3-in-1 charger. In the middle, I have some external SSD and hard drives, the Apple polishing cloth, and this Grovemade tray. I use this to store smaller items that I use on a weekly basis like pens, cables, SIM card tools, SD cards, and my other Apple Watch bands. And underneath, I just have a CalDigit dock, another SSD, and books. I also add some small toys and figures for a splash of color. Try to keep them to a minimum though, because it could start to look like a mess rather than decorations. So instead of having a bunch of cables hanging down everywhere, spend the extra time hiding or mounting them underneath your desk. You could go from a setup looking like this to something like this. For my productivity setup, I use an Anchor power strip and 3M tape to stick it underneath my desk. And everything gets plugged into here, including USB-C and lightning cables. I also have this little tray cable on the back to hide power bricks and more cables. And sprinkled around my desk are these cable clips. There's 3M tape on the back, and you just stick them wherever you want. And what's nice is that you can add or remove cables. There's still a couple of cables hanging down, but you can't get a snake tube that bundles your cables into one. My cable management isn't the cleanest looking one, but my gaming setup is a different story. I use the Secretlab MAGNUS Pro, which has the best cable management features. It has a built-in cable tray that hides everything. I just open the cover to add a power strip, power bricks, Ethernet switch, and close it when I'm done. I even use these Velcro straps and magnetic cable ties to keep everything looking tidy. And for the other feature, the power socket is built in the desk leg. So I have 1 power cable plugged to a wall, which is hidden under this rug, and the power strip is plugged in the top one. I also have this Ethernet extender, so the cables plug in the bottom and top for a super clean look. Next, I use a monitor arm and boom arm instead of the default stand. Most monitors come with bulky stands that take up desk space. So on my work setup, I use the LG Ultrafine Display Ergo, which did not have a normal stand in the box. And for my gaming setup, I use the Secretlab MAGNUS monitor arm. Both of these arms give that monitor that floating look, and there's built-in cable management. As for my boom arm, I'm using the Blue Compass with the Shure MV7, and this is one of the nicest arms out there. The cable management and tension springs are built in, so you get a setup that looks very minimal. If you like to have drinks at your desk, use a coaster because no one likes that water ring. Coasters protect your desk from any water damage, and it could give your desk some nice contrast. I have this black one from GroveMade because matte black everything. And I recently got this Wuthering Waves coaster from Sunright. A little bit of color from my dark gaming setup. Lighting can make a big difference. During the day, my setup looks normal, but at night, it has a completely different look. I use Philips Hue light strips on the back of the monitor for adjustable lighting. This is the old version, so I can only set it to one color. My gaming monitor has built-in RGB lights, but I may need to get real light strips because these aren't as bright. I rarely showed my TV setup, but I recently added the Hue Sync box, which synced the gradient light strip with the picture on the screen. It's immersive and looks really cool when gaming. Those are my tips for keeping my setups nice and tidy in order to stay productive and focused. A clean space is a happy place. If you have any other tips, let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll be notified when I post new videos. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!